Hello, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am really glad you're here. Today's date is Saturday, June 10, 2023. In today's video, I think we better address the elephant in the room. There's been another indictment of our 45th president of the United States, Mr. Trump. Now, let's take a look at a compilation I've got and then do a quick tarot read about it, okay? As always, this compilation will be available to you if you follow the link to Facebook on my video description box. For those of you that don't use Facebook, I apologize. I'm not allowed to do direct links. I'm trying to give as many people as possible access to information that I use when I get curious. And if you don't use Facebook, you are always welcome to glean as much as you can from the videos and even stop the screen and see where I possibly have maybe spotlighted a link or something like that. Okay, let's go to the compilation. First off, I'd like to mention this 17 post back, a 17 post back in February 10th of 2020 had this great meme on it. The hunt is on, the hunters become the hunted. And you may want to take a look at this. There is one particular question because many of the 17 posts are simply asking questions to get us thinking, digging, researching, using our critical thinking skills that have atrophied over the generations where we've been told not to use them, just rely on others, okay? And it says, how do you introduce evidence legally? And that would be during the defense for charges against you. Is a very easy answer to come up with. So let's take a look at something that I consider to be a really good assessment of the situation that's going on right now. Okay, this was from a DC insider back on the 8th, 2 days ago, said, yeah, I know, this is another LARP, right? Anyway, the plan is for multiple Mr. T indictments to bleed his support over time and demoralize his base, convince them to move over to De Sanctimonious and have him pardon Trump after he's elected. Mr. T poses a threat to the foreign policy priorities, the only priorities that really matter in town of DC, of, well, the people who actually run things here. While De Sanctimonious is a good goy, and I think that's a deliberate misspell, who knows how things work and will play ball. They don't want to actually imprison him, logistically impossible to do anyway, just break him politically in the last cycle he'll realistically be able to run in. They don't want 46 again, who's an embarrassment and erodes regime legitimacy, see military recruitment issues, and they think De Sanctimonious will be able to restore the right-wing half of the country's faith in the US institutions again. What's interesting is the timing. De Sanctimonious wasn't supposed to run until after the indictments dropped, and he was supposed to do so reluctantly. But Mr. T blitzkrieged him so hard right out of the gate that he had to speed up his timeline. Once again, guys, people that aren't in the light are getting forced to work at a speed that isn't of their own choosing. That's my little interjection there. I'm not reading here. Okay, back to this post. A T 45-46 election is viewed as catastrophic, so it's going to be a hard push between now and primary voting to convince as many Republican voters as possible that Mr. T is supposedly unelectable, and they'll have polls that will come out attempting to shape this reality like they did before, especially after each indictment. But like I said, this is just a LARP, live action role play. Okay, and then I just thought this was funny. It's a meme. Dictators named Joseph who arrested their political opponents, won, and loading one more result. We all know who that result would be. Okay, so what I'd like to ask the cards, the Mr. T indictment. I think it's a pretty accurate assessment that they're trying to demoralize and erode his popularity. And I don't see that happening. I really don't. No matter what the polls say, people are going to be steadfast. Not that there's so much a Mr. T fan, it's that he is the best viable alternative to the swamp. And I've heard people say that he's part of it too. Give me a better option. I don't see one out there. That's how I feel about it. Okay. And I'm a non-affiliated voter. I'm just simply conservative and not affiliated to any party, and I'm not a fan of the parties, just to be clear. So let's ask the cards about this latest indictment. Is that assessment pretty accurate? And are there other insights and information the universe wants us to know? The assessment being that it's all theater designed to erode Mr. T's support base. And let's see if that's true and if it's going to have some success. If so, and other insights and information the universe wants us to know. Okay, is that assessment correct? That this indictment and any others that follow are really just simply designed to erode Mr. T's base? If it's true, what effects should we be aware of and other insights and information? Okay, our first card, Page of Swords, King of Pentacles, the Lovers, Four of Pentacles, Six of Swords, Three of Hearts, Ace of Cups. So we're getting a good solid yes on our basic question here. And our question was, is that assessment that I just shared with you, and I'm not the author of it, but is that assessment fairly accurate that the purpose of these indictments is to attempt to erode Mr. T's voter base? Because we know that, well, hopefully there won't be an election. But assuming we're on the timeline where that does happen, we know that the big push politically is really going to happen up to the primaries. Okay, then the push after that will be to insert enough shenanigans to get us another selection rather than a true election. Okay, the Page of Swords is showing up for our basic question here, and it's clarified a little more by the King of Pentacles, and he's got wisdom and sovereignty going on for him. Page of Pentacles is a sword of truth. And it's interesting with the other cards that have shown up here that he shows up there. So our question about that was, yeah, this person that shared that, because that was kind of within the framework of my question, was sharing truth as he saw it, and truth that had a lot of wisdom to it. In the recent past, we have the Lover's card showing up, and that is about a card of balancing needs and wants, and doing so in a very collegial fashion. So where I'm getting from this is that in the recent past, okay, there have been plans made. These moves by the corrupt DOJ were not unforeseen, and they planned accordingly, okay? I see that too, because we have the Four of Pentacles here for the present, which is all about keeping your resources, being careful with them, even to the point of being miserly. And if you notice, there's a big city in the background here that always to me looks like a little bit like New York. So basically, yeah, they knew coming out of New York would be more shenanigans and more legal issues. It didn't catch them by surprise, and they have got their resources dedicated to deal with this. Now let's look at the near future, because that's kind of interesting. Our near future row, which is, here's the near future, and then insights and information about it, just like future cards here will be more insights and information. This is a beautiful card. It's giving us a reinsurance that once again, Mr. T is going to be able to steer himself out of any potential harm or what have you. And also I'm seeing that even if he does appear for that indictment, it won't be the real him that does. This is almost always in a political read my card that indicates there will be a double used, if not a clone, a look-alike, body double, mask, whatever. Okay, and again, here was our hard yes, that yes, this assessment was correct. This is also Ace of Cups is a card of ultimate success and victory. So again, if you did what they wanted and started to worry and fret about that indictment, let it go, because the purpose of that is to erode the base, harvest loosh, okay, and direct our thoughts and moods because that ability is being slowly but surely removed as people wake up and decide to not be a tool, a victim of manipulation anymore. So manipulate us no more, right? Let's get a couple other cards and see what's going on here. We've got so far one major arcana in the Lovers and one very strong yes card with the Ace of Cups. We have the Page of Cups, which is frequently about a little blessing, a hidden blessing coming your way. So I love that that's showing up. There's going to actually be some good for this. It's not going to, this indictment is not going to have the effect that had been hoped. Another major arcana showing up, the Empress. Another ace showing up, Ace of Wands. How beautiful. And the High Priestess. So there's information that will be coming out, not all of it. Right now, it's there's some things that could come out that won't about this whole situation. Okay, but ultimately we're getting the nod to have no fears, don't worry about it. It's all part of the game, and it's not going to be an effective one. And part of that effect was taken away by Mr. T forcing Ron DeSantis's hand and making him announce that he would run. And believe it or not, I'll tell you what I believe. Hang on, let's go to just you and I talking. DeSantis may have had some viability at some point, but there's been enough disclosures about some of the antics that he involves in. He has not kept his hands clean. He didn't, he seemed to be aiding and abetting when FEMA was doing the raiding during the hurricane cleanups. There's just been a lot of things. And I also believe that once again, he's been dealt with, and we're dealing with a 2.0 in that position. Now, it's a 2.0 that both sides can make some use of, is how they see it. I just don't see that he's got even a hope of getting enough conservative and Republican voters on board to ever have a shot at the presidency. Now let's recap what we had here. Okay, Mr. T has had another indictment. All right, and I shared a little information with a 17 post that talked about how can you introduce evidence, and once again, that can happen during the discovery and defense part of legal proceedings. So once again, boomerang possibility that they do things to Trump first that are going to end up happening to the other side with much better effect. Okay. Then I shared an assessment of it that basically said that the purpose of these indictments, and indicated, kind of hinted that there'd be more than two, is simply to try to erode the Mr. T support base. So we asked if that was, we asked the universe, is that true? Is that the intent here? And then will it be effective, and other insights and what have you? Well, we got a really good hard yes with the Ace of Cups, that yes, that was the intent. We also got a nod that assessment I read by that DC insider he was a truth teller, okay? And a fairly acute one with a good head on his shoulders. The recent past card was our Lovers card, which kind of told me that nothing really has caught Mr. T's team by surprise, and they were ready for these shenanigans as they've unfolded. They've got their resources ready. They're not even going to have to spend a lot of time on this one or money. Okay, we got the Four of Pentacles there, not a larger number. And then just a reassurance, in the near future, he's going to skate out of this and any of those other troubles. Now, I also got the information, and I'll say it now, that whoever shows up Tuesday in the form of Mr. T will probably not be the genuine, real, original Mr. T 1.0. It'll be someone standing there in his stead. Okay, so a 2.0 of some stripe or fashion. And so I'm not worried about Mr. T. I'm not worried about the indictments. I would encourage you not to worry about them either. Okay. Those indictments are meant to bother us, to get us off our game. And our game is to keep our eyes open, to be aware of what's going on, to realize, hey, Smoke from forest fires. Hey, folks, I'll tell you, I lived in Alaska for years, and forest fires, we had numerous ones that put us on air quality alerts, and they never had orange smoke. So I think we know what happened to some of that, those chemicals that disappeared. Okay. And we know that the deep state has no qualms about hurting life. In fact, that's one of their objectives often. So we need to keep our eyes open and on situations like that and be intentioning that those situations be ineffective, temporary, and that honesty and truth and the light will prevail. In fact, prevail even better than they ever dreamed possible. Okay, one last thing before I say that's it for this video. Next weekend, the 18th, I believe, Sunday, the third Sunday of the month, is our live meditation. It will be, I'll put up an announcement in the next day or two about it. The focus for this one is going to be, we are going to focus on manifesting freedom in 23, free in 23, free in 23, okay? We're close, it may be 24, but let's see if we can't meditate, put our collective energy and light into that happening sooner, not later. So that's what the focus will be. You're welcome to join us no matter what your faith practice, or, you know, it's a non-denominational meditation that'll take up to less than 30 minutes for sure. So you're welcome to join us. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for your time, for your viewership, for subscribing, for all you do for me, for the good thoughts, prayers, and well wishes you send me that totally, totally blow any negativity sent my way out of the water, and it's never a concern. So until next time, I send you love and light and all things bright.